feel like really just nasty now. There was a spider on Kim's mic, and we like
right
right
here.
there.
He's our number one fan. You're gonna treat him like that?
He just sat there and was like, hello? And then we were like, hello? And, yeah, so now I'm scared to even get close
What
to
if
this
that was
mic.
like Charlotte's cousin, and he
Shut
just wanted to
up.
like
Stop getting that
he
image
wanted
in my
to
head.
get some like words into the mic, you know?
It's fine.
Charlotte could talk.
It's fine.
But she dies.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Spoiler.
So anyway,
Anyway.
how old is that book? Tell me right now.
Oh yeah, one time, like I think it was like last year sometime, I was like, oh, Charlotte's Web, a movie that Nora and I haven't watched because I was just done with everything. You know, I just had Baylor. We're like watching movies all the time, and I'm like, can I need a new movie? I'm like, oh, Charlotte's Web, that's like a kids movie. I like forgot what it's about, and I'm like watching it, and
You
I'm
remember?
like waiting for Nora to like understand. I'm like semi distracting her at like the parts that she would get it. It was so funny. I'm like, hey Nora, like go give me a drink, or like, oh, this is so funny.
That's funny.
I was like, don't understand.
Oh my god. So my apartment has like so many spiders. I think we get like 2 or 3 of them a week. Yeah. So we're constantly just killing spiders. And by we, I mean Wesley. Because I ain't about to I feel like there's something on me.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like there's just like, oh, I'm so grossed out. Anyway, so like in our kitchen especially, we get a lot of spiders. Well, one day I was at home cleaning the kitchen.
Sorry, what's the...
Yeah,
Keep going.
the like about to dive into this traumatic experience breath.
Well, I saw this big spider. And when I say it was big, I mean it was big. Okay?
How big?
Like, it was probably this big.
I don't know, because you said this one was big, and I was like,
Yeah, that one
it's
was not big.
Well, then I said, maybe it's actually not. But, like, it feels big because it's, like, right there. You know?
Yeah, it's like right in front of your face.
So,
Yeah.
like, I, like, didn't know what to do. I had the broom, but I was like, but I don't want it to get stuck in the broom, and then I have to clean it out, you know? So I was like, ah. And I had shoes on, and I was like, I just don't want to know my shoe. And but I was like, I have to kill it because it's starting to move. So I stomped on it, and then I, like, left it there. And then Wesley cleaned it up.
at least you stepped on it.
Yeah. I feel icky just thinking about it because I don't know. I just hate spiders.
I apologize if I've told this story before. I don't think I have on the podcast, but I might have told you guys before. But I served my mission in Brazil. And Brazil is in the Amazon. At least the part I was in is in the Amazon. Like, the state is actually called Amazonas. Like, it's the Amazon. And therefore, there was a lot of spiders. And it was fine, except my second companion was, like, deathly afraid. Like, deathly afraid. Like, she was the most, like, chill, easygoing person. But when it came to spiders, she was just somebody else, okay?
I don't blame her.
And
Same.
so... so I would usually just kill them, and a lot of times I would kill them quietly, like so she wouldn't have to see.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm just like, I just practice. But one time we were out all day, and it had like rained a ton that day, and I guess it just like drove all the spiders inside. So we like come back. It's like 9 p.m. It's dark. We like flip on the lights. I kid you not. There's like spider webs. Like, just crossing the wall. Like, they just, like, moved in and just set up shop, like, while we were gone. And there was so many. She literally started crying and just froze up. And I was like, it's okay.
No.
It's okay. But the thing is,
Oh my god.
like, they didn't bug me that much. They were so big, though. I was terrified. I was, like, trying to kill them, but they were so big. It was so scary. It was awful. Like, they were this kind of big that, like, you hear it and you feel it when you kill them, you know?
Yeah.
Just disgusting. It was awful. It was bad. There was probably like 17 spiders that night.
Dude. Okay, you win. Because I've been to, like, Costa Rica, and we went on this, like, river tour. So I had, like, a tour guide. Basically, we're in a kayak, okay? And he goes up to, like, the water, like, goes through, and then there's, like, basically walls that, like, so when the water rises, it has, like, you know, that place to, like, still stay in. Anyway, so the water was pretty low. They go up to this, like, river wall, just spiders, giant spiders, like this big, and he was, like, touching them and, like,
No.
One of them even just like they started jumping out of nowhere. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave now. Yep, now.
I think I like lost it at that moment because I think he saw the terror in my eyes because then as soon as like I like looked at him, he just like was like, all right, let's move on. Because one of them actually jumped into this other girl's like boat.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Mm. That's so gross.
Woo!
Oddly enough, it wasn't even a spider that like sent me over the edge on my mission. It was literally we're just like walking along one day and I had to like stop to like fix something in my shoe.
Oh.
And I like stopped like right by this like what do you call it?
A pole.
Yeah, like a pole,
Like a light pole?
telepole, whatever. And I like so it's like right here, and then I like look to my left, and there is the biggest beetle I have ever seen in museums, in like documentaries. I literally thought it was fake. I thought it was like a Halloween gag that somebody just like put up. It seriously, its body was like that big, plus the horns and the legs.
Oh.
And I was like, no, shut up. Like, that's not. And then it moved, and I lost it.
Not move.
I lost
Yeah,
it. It was
I would
gross.
too.
Animal Planet did not prepare you enough.
No.
No.
Oh,
Well, I'm pretty
man.
sure I blocked it out of my memory. I wouldn't watch Animal Planet because I was like, I'm gonna find one of those in my like room. One time, I found this centipede in my bed, and I didn't sleep in my bed for
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 days.
Centipedes are gross.
Yeah.
They're
So
gross.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, not
Mhm.
me realizing when I got my mission call, it was like, yay, Brazil. And then I like looked where it was, and I was like,
Yay, Brazil!
like all of the Animal Planet I had watched about the Amazon just flooding my brain, and I'm like,
Yeah. Well, you're dead.
Guys, I
Yeah.
seriously feel like there's a spider on me.
it's-
I'm gonna freak out.
okay, trivia.
Placebo
right? It went
effect.
off.
Yeah, trivia before we get into our topic.
Okay, I want to go
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Because my sweatshirt was sitting right here next to it.
Oh yeah, I probably wrote out on your sweatshirt. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. There were spider webs on the mics. It was trying to
Bro,
make its
I'm
home
seriously
here.
gonna cry. I don't like this at all.
It was fine. She was joking. It was a
We
joke.
got you, Kate. We're looking. We will
Okay,
see if there is
yeah.
anything.
I'll like do
okay?
my I'll do that.
I will karate chop it.
I will risk
Yeah,
my life for
because
you.
you did that so well before.
I was the one that got it, was I not?
She was
I stepped on it.
true. It was a team effort.
Okay,
Oh,
anyway.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
What is Adele's #1 song? Is it Hello, Set Fire to the Rain, Someone Like You, or Easy on Me?
I feel like it's someone like you.
Yeah,
so-
that's how I. Yeah.
That
Someone
is
like you.
correct.
Woo!
Good job, you guys. I was just listening to Adele in the car. I was listening to Adele in the car and I was like, Adele, that sounds good.
Like, here's my trivia question.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
man. I love that.
Okay,
Well,
that was quick.
perfect.
Hey everybody, you're listening to Discussions with Heidi, Nat, and Kim.
We're three sisters who talk about anything and everything while playing trivia.
We can't promise we'll always stay on topic, but we can promise we'll always be safe for work. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I mean, we just are that good.
Yeah.
Well, today, okay, we're going to be talking about how social media affects self-esteem. And I kind of wanted to get into like the good and the bad of it because I feel like there's good to be talked about and there's obviously the bad to be talked about. And I personally feel so passionately about this topic because of what I do for a living. And so, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to like get into it. And so, do either of you want to start? No, I can start if you guys want.
I was just saying, why am I scared? I don't know.
Dude, I'm so scared. I'm afraid there are spiders under the
Oh,
table.
no, we're talking about the spider. I'm scared to be like talk about
I'm
this
still
topic.
thinking about the spider.
Do we need to restart?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I remember when I sent you that reel about the spiders in the grass.
Yes, I still think about it.
We talked about intrusive thoughts last episode or the 2 episodes ago. Yeah, I let it win that time. I was like, Heidi would hate this. I'm gonna send it to her.
Basically, it's this video where this girl was like, "Yeah, see all the there's like this girl standing in like a dark meadow or whatever, and she's like filming, and you see like a whole bunch of like little
Just, like,
white
little
dots,
sparkly, yeah.
sparkly dots, and she's like, "Yeah, those are all spiders," and
Yeah.
like zooms in, and it's just spiders everywhere,
Yeah.
and I literally lost it. I was like, "No,
No, and it's like at night if you're like have your flashlight on and there's like little dots, those are spiders in your
shut
lawn.
up, shut up, shut up, stop."
And with scorpions, you have to use a black light to find them.
Ew,
Okay.
scorpions.
So,
Anyway.
what was the question?
There was no question.
Okay,
I just kind of wanted to just like let's just get into it. Maybe this
Okay.
will distract you.
yeah,
Don't think.
maybe. I'm
okay,
ready.
well, are we doing like bad or good or just
Let's
whatever?
start with the bad. Let's because I
Okay.
like to end on a more positive note, and I feel like, at least for me, there's more to be said about the negative impacts that it used to have on me. Because I want to say it doesn't have an effect on my self-esteem today, but
Wow,
it
that's impressive.
did. Yeah. Well, I don't have a negative effect, I should say. Positive for sure, but not negative. So, okay, I want to talk about obviously that like the filters. I was trying to find the word. The filters. It's for me, it's hard to see like people's lives behind that filter because like the filter is just fixing the imperfections around, changes the color. So like you think like I have a makeup artist that I work with and she asks me every so often about this makeup artist that posts pictures and they look so perfect. She's like, it has to be a filter. Like it cannot be real. And I have shown her like, no, that's lighting. That's like the angles. As a photographer, I know all this. And so I was like, that's what it is. And she was like, no, it has to be a filter. Like there's no way. There's no way a makeup artist is able to do that so perfectly. And so for me, the first thing I thought of was like, yes, the filters it's hard to see what's real versus what's fake in people's pictures.
Mhm.
Yep.
I don't know.
I-
That's kind of where
For
I
me,
started with.
it's like I just see people. It's just like it's people that you barely know. You know,
Mhm.
like a lot of the time, where they're like 2 girls, is like especially they are probably really great people, but like I cannot stand looking at their posts. Yet I still don't unfollow them because like I need to know. I
yeah.
need to compare myself to them for some stupid reason. And like one of them is just they're both just super like, you know, spiritual and like go-getters and they have like beautiful husbands. I mean, of course I do too, but like they like just focus on all this like stuff like and then they show off their talents and they are just like constantly just like, "Oh, look what I did." And my husband came with me and just things like that and it bothers me so much. Yeah, I still don't follow them. Why?
I think because that comparison can also sometimes be validating. I don't know, because I have people that I follow that I'm just like, I don't know why I follow you. I don't like you as a person, but here I am, still curious enough to keep tabs on your life. But mostly because, well, I saw this video yesterday on TikTok, actually. This girl was saying, like, the girl that bullied me in high school married someone ugly and she got ugly and fat and like at first I was like, that's funny, you know, that's because that's validating as someone that was bullied, you know, like to find out that the person that was mean to you like didn't turn out so great, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time it's like, no, like why do we do that? Like why
Yeah.
do we use social media as a way to inadvertently bring others down because we need them to feel like how we do? Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I maybe want to look at them and see like if at any point their perfect life is not so perfect. Like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've kind of started to avoid social media in a way. I don't
Mhm.
get on it really. And like for our podcast, we have to do like quite a bit of like, you know, social media stuff, and it's been a really big like learning curve for me to not get sucked down the rabbit hole of like, well, I don't
Yeah.
look like them. We don't have as many followers as them. We're not as liked as them, or like even just like on my own feed, you know. I get scrolling and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll, and it's just a big waste of time. And then I sit there and I feel bad about myself because A, I'm seeing all these people do awesome things, and B, I wasted an hour of my life looking at people and feeling horrible, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I do know.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, something else I thought of too, like as you're saying that, was like how obviously social media is a time waster. We all know this. Anyone that has social media knows. Oh, it's so easy to just scroll and scroll and scroll.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of time wasting,
Trivia.
what is the average daily time people spend on Facebook?
Oh, she actually had a question about this.
3 hours.
Wait, what are the options?
17 minutes,
Okay.
27 minutes, 48 minutes, 58 minutes.
48 minutes.
58 minutes.
58 minutes.
I was like, it has to
Doesn't
be
that
the
make
highest.
you sick?
Yeah.
Like, and I think, like, did you guys ever have that setting on your phone that, like, at the end of the week, it would tell you, like, your average screen time for the week? Do you guys remember
Yeah.
that? Oh, I
We
still
still
have
have
it.
that,
Mine just,
yeah.
like, stopped one day. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I just remember, like, every Sunday it would, like, come on and I'd be like, just,
I
like,
know when it's
just
like
so...
your average is like 5 hours a day, and I'm like,
yeah, it's, like, awful.
But a lot of the time, I'm just playing like stupid games.
Yeah,
on
that's just
there,
like
you
screen
know?
time. But like, yeah, if you add up all your social media minutes, it just like
It adds up.
Yeah, it does.
It adds up.
It's-
But like for me, when it comes to like the wasting of the time, I guess I'm hard on myself. I don't need social media to be hard on myself. But I'm hard on myself with social media when it comes to like wasting my time, because I think later on, like, wow, what could I have done in that time that I just spent
Mhm.
and so I think I'm such a bad person because I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasted all this time. I could have been, cleaning my house or
Yeah.
doing things that are way more important and need my time. And so I don't know, that for me is like a huge negative.
No, I definitely like. I have different words I'm looking for. There are times in my life where I feel like I'm in good control of like me as a person, and like I feel good about myself, and I feel like at those times I can like hop on and like I'm good. Like I don't compare myself. I'm like, that's awesome for them. Good to see you doing that. Like I like to look at reels. I think they're funny. A lot of it's very relatable. I like to teach my husband how I feel by sending them to him.
Yeah.
But like there are also other times in my life where it's the doom scrolling, where like I want to dissociate, and so I just am like, all right, here it is. I'm just gone for hours, and like then you just feel awful. And so I feel like it's not something that like you can just say like this is what it is for me. I feel like at different times in your life you have to treat it differently. Like there have been times in my life, and I'm sure there will be again, where I've had to take just completely myself away from that and just take a step back. And then there are other times where I'm really good at just like, okay, I have 15 minutes. I'll give myself 15 minutes, like set a timer, and like then I'm done.
Yeah.
Personally, I know this isn't like a religious podcast or whatever, but in one of the talks that like a prophet or apostle gave, basically it's like putting down your phone instead of, or maybe it wasn't even a talk, maybe it was just like a seminary lesson that I learned. And he like gave a story of like one time he was looking on his phone basically and just kind of wasting time, and his son wanted to show him something, and he was like, yeah 1 minute, and then like a minute turned to like 30 minutes, and then like he just like never showed up. He finally realized, and he went upstairs, and it was like this little snowman that he had made out of like marshmallows and things like that, and it had been knocked over, and he was just sound asleep in his bed. And he's like, that moment I felt like the worst human being in the world. He was like, I wasted so much time and a memory I could have had with my own son because I had to look at social media. And another thing is like, when you're looking on social media, I think this also kind of goes along with like music too, where like if you're constantly having music in, you're constantly disassociating, you're not connecting with the world, you're just in your own head, and you could be meeting a lot of people by just passing them on the street, And so when I was in college, I tried for a while to just like when I was on the bus or when I was just waiting for the bus, I would just sit there and I would just look around and I'd like be present instead of being on my phone like looking to fill time, you know? And it felt so much better. You just kind of are just like in the world and you're just kind of enjoying time as you are, and then life moves on, you know?
Yeah.
But we're so afraid. Sorry, I'm like rambling. We're like so afraid of silence these days that like we have to have something to fill our minds so that we stop thinking about ourselves and our problems. I think that's truly what it is.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not even just social media. Like, there's a million things that we can be listening to that can be catching our attention. Like, for a lot of guys, it's all the sports and all of the YouTube videos and all that. And so it's just, yeah, it's definitely a problem. And it's, I don't know, like, yeah, especially as a mom, I try and be very aware of how much time I'm spending on my phone, because even if I am sending like a super important text to like you guys, even my kids don't know that. All they see is their mom on her phone and
It's
not
true.
playing with them, not looking at them, not interacting with them. And so like I've told you guys, like I've even tried, like if there is a time where I'm like I really just need to like relax for a minute, like the kids will just play and sometimes I'll read, and I've been trying to get physical books because I want them to know that I'm reading, I'm not just on my phone. And like even then try and put down my book and like, yeah, cool jump, you know. Like, so yeah, it's just very hard. And it does it Colton and I have so many conversations of like, okay, we need to be on our phones less, like, and it's just, yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But like I have respect for that. You know, it's really hard to not, you know, there's so many books on your phone that you could just like read there. But like it reminds me of a picture that I saw on social media where it's basically like this mom on a train and she's reading a book and then her son next to her is also reading a book. And he looks very into it and just like very interested. It's like a chapter book. It's like one of the bigger ones. And it was like your children reflect what they see.
Yeah.
And if they see you on your phone all the time, then they want to be on the phone. If they see you reading all the time, they want to be reading. Not necessarily, because some kids just don't like reading. Totally get that. But, like, it's
Jeff.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Jeff and Cameron. But, like, yeah, it's just, it's the example thing, you know?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Okay. I have a trivia question. We'll pause for a sec. Okay. So as I was like looking up the effects of social media and things like that, I stumbled down this black hole, if you will, or rabbit hole, black hole too, actually, of like people interested in cosmetic surgery because of what they see. Because like the Kardashians specifically prompted a lot of people to want to just get a lot of work done. And so anyway, I found out which state Googles the most about getting a cosmetic procedure done.
Shut up.
So
Tell me it's not Utah.
that
Tell
is-
me it's not Utah.
no. So that's the question. So which state Googles the most, like the most Google searching about cosmetic procedures? Is it Florida, Delaware, Georgia, or California?
It's gotta be California
I don't
or
know.
Florida.
I was gonna say California probably.
But I feel like you're saying that to throw us off.
Am I?
California or Florida, I feel like.
Why?
Based on sheer size and then just like the culture in those places, it's very much like a appearance type thing.
And what you said, Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Georgia is just very like down to earth, just like kind of it is what it is type. But they're also like, you know, the Georgian, what are they called? The moms out there that have to look like the Georgia peaches, or I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like the
that's-
housewives. I don't
The
know.
Yeah.
Housewives.
This is a good question.
What is it, Kim?
Delaware.
Oh,
Nuh-uh.
Yep, Delaware, Rhode Island, and
Delaware is,
Maryland
like,
were
this
the top
big.
3.
Yeah, is it just like
Rhode Island is like
did they account
smaller.
for like state size and like did just like a
They
percentage?
no, like this was back in 2022, so it could change now, I'm sure. But it's been that way since 2019, I guess. Delaware's been the number 1 state to Google search cosmetic surgeries, and that means like anything from like Brazilian butt lift all the way to like getting your lips done and things like that. So yeah, and that side fact too, the most Google searched cosmetic procedure is BBL, Brazilian butt lift.
Really?
It gets over 300,000 hits each day on Google.
Wow.
dang.
Isn't that
Jeez.
crazy?
How much does that cost? You know?
A couple thousand at least. I don't know. A lot of girls get them done now.
I can't remember what movie it is, but it's an Adam Sandler movie, and Jennifer Aniston's in it as well. And he
That narrows it down a lot.
and he like he at the beginning he wanted to become wanted to be like a brain or heart surgeon or something like that, but he had like this huge nose, and he was gonna marry this chick that was all about like looks and whatever. And so she basically said that she was going to marry he overheard her saying she was going to marry him for his money, pretty
I
much.
have seen this movie.
I forget what it is.
Like on the day of their wedding, he
he overhears that, and so he leaves and doesn't marry her.
Good for
Then
him.
he like changes his whole brand. He gets a nose job first, and then he changes into a facial, like a plastic surgeon, and he uses that as kind of like his means of making money, obviously, like his job, but he makes good money doing it. So I was like, it doesn't surprise me that it costs a lot of money and a lot of people want to do it.
It's a very lucrative. I mean, even here in Utah, you see the billboards everywhere about Botox, and which is, everyone's prerogative. But I wonder if, again, social media and seeing people like the Kardashians or other influencers
totally
triggers
100%.
that. Because if you think that's attainable, you're obviously you want it, and so.
Well,
anyway.
like you just feel pressured into things, like just like stupid things, just whatever the trends are. Like you feel like you have to do that. Like for me, I remember feeling so part of why I didn't have like a big gender reveal is because I was just like, this is so dumb. I feel pressured into this because it's a trend, not because I actually want to do it. So I didn't do it, and like some people gave me flack for it, and I was like, whatever. Like I don't know, but like even just recently, Elise,
Myers,
yeah,
Yeah.
Elise Myers,
We love her.
I love her, and like I was on there for a few minutes the other day, and she was talking about, she was like, if you need permission to not do a maternity photo shoot, like here it is. And I was like,
Yes, actually.
thank you,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
everybody's out there like doing it, and I'm
I
like,
think
where
it's-
are the people who don't want to do this?
You
Because I
know-
know I'm not the only
Yeah,
one.
if you don't want to do it,
Don't
I mean,
do it.
if you want to do it, that's great. But you're not going to catch me half naked with my belly hanging out.
Well, it's like,
with the
you know
picture.
what? That is amazing that you loved being pregnant and you had the self-esteem to feel great during pregnancy. I didn't enjoy
Yeah.
it. I didn't
I was
like,
like,
how I looked.
I'll just take the baby pictures,
Yeah.
I won't be in them, Avi. But like Kim's gonna take my kids' pictures.
No, I will not.
Why?
Because newborn photography is not my jam.
No, I mean like the 1 year pictures.
Oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. But no, I don't do the babies. That's a whole other posing thing that I just cannot do. No, but like, so as a photographer, so seeing her post, I actually almost sent it to you because I'm on the same thing. First of all, don't do anything because you think that you have to.
Mhm.
That's first and foremost. But with her specific video about maternity photos, I was like, you know what? That's so true because some people don't love it. But I've had clients that will say, I don't love my body being pregnant, but my husband does. And so he wants these photos of me because this might be our last child. And so I'm like, okay. But there's some women that love being pregnant. They have no stretch marks. Their bodies look perfect
Ain't
still.
that nice?
Yeah. And I'm
What
like, you know
that
what? Good for you. Good for you that your body still looks great. And they want to do it. And I don't sway people either way. But I do think that there is a trend of like, you have to do these things because society tells you
Well,
to.
I feel like it's almost like bouncing back, where like now people are like, you know what, enough with this
Big show.
idea, this show of perfection. Like now you've got all these
Mhm.
influencers who will be like, you want to know what a real life around here, like what a real day in the life is, like showing like this super messy house, like they're like the stay-at-home mom influencers, and it's just like
Yep.
kids screaming. So I'm like, there you go, like that's exactly what it is.
We
And just
sorry.
people that like are just done showing like that things are perfect. Like, no,
Yeah.
here's how it is.
Wesley was scrolling through TikTok, and he like was watching this video, and it was basically like a night in the life with like a newborn baby, and it was like this lady who was like sleeping and then gets woken up at like 12:30 a.m., has to nurse him, puts him back to bed like half an hour, 45 minutes later, wakes up again 45 minutes later, feeds him again, and does it like a couple times throughout the night. And one of the times throughout the night, the husband wakes up and is like, "Hey, like, are you okay?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, okay, good." And then just like falls back to sleep. And you can tell she's just pissed and just done. And it just is like so refreshing to see, because you don't see that stuff. Nobody really talks about it. It's always just like, yeah, it's hard. You
Yeah.
know, just like
Yeah.
marriage. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
really like video with that, I guess. But it's like they always say, "Oh,
there
it's
are a
hard."
lot of things though.
Yeah.
you
But
can
yeah,
talk
but there's
about.
like, I feel like it's just not really talked about.
And that I mean, if you want to talk about a good thing about social media, I feel like that's it. It has allowed us to talk about things that have not been talked about in the past.
Mhm.
Like I talk about motherhood a lot because it has been such a shock for me, because I just was not aware
Yeah.
of how hard it is and like what goes into it, because nobody talked about
Nobody
it, because
talks about
our
it.
mom and our grandma and like on their generations, like they didn't talk about it. And like
because it was their job
It
to
w-
take care of them.
yeah, and like the guys are unaware, but like
Mhm.
I don't know, as I get older and as I've had conversations with grandma recently, with mom recently, it was hard for them. It was it's not that it wasn't hard for them and it's hard for
They
us.
just didn't talk about it.
They just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And so now it's like finally coming to light, and now it's
'Cause
like
it
this
was
whole
almost like
thing.
bad juju to talk
Yeah.
about it then. But now it's like people are being more open and being like, "This sucks. I
Yeah.
have postpartum depression. I constantly just don't want to take care of my kid. I just want to do nothing for like 10 minutes, but my kid keeps bothering me." And like other people are just like, "I totally get it, but you have to keep going, you know?" And it's
Mhm.
like good to have like social media and like different like blogs or spaces on like Facebook where you're part of groups or whatever to kind of like keep you going.
Yeah.
There are people out there just like you who are struggling just like you.
Maybe
Yep.
we just need to be more selective about like who we're following. We need to unfollow those people that make
Yep.
us feel like trash, and we need to
Mhm.
follow more people that uplift us, because yeah, there really are people that I follow that they get me rolling laughing when I just need it. And then the people that like I'm like, I'm gonna educate my husband right now, and I like send him a reel. And I'm
Yep.
like, this is exactly how I feel. I didn't know how to say it. Here it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I feel like we get a lot of flack for being the generation of relatable content, because that's really what we are. Like millennials, millennial, whatever you want to call it. We're the generation that talks about these things. And maybe that's why a lot of things that were not a thing 50 years ago are very prevalent now. And I can go on about that for days.
Mhm.
And Jeff and I have talked about it a lot. But like, I mean, I think I've talked about it before, maybe not. That at church one Sunday, an older woman, I won't say her name, I don't even remember it to be honest, but she was saying that, oh yeah, this generation, like there's a lot of depressed girls now. And like one of the girls that
There
was
were
my
always depressed girls.
yeah, like one of the girls that is my age raised her hand, was like, no, listen, that was always a thing. It's just we never talked. There was never a space to do that, to talk
Yeah.
about it, to say,
the
you know what,
people-
I had a hard day.
the people that you call depressed now, back then you would call lazy, the
Yes.
worst mom ever.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
you just had different titles for them.
Yes.
And the postpartum mom, they're just crazy.
Yeah,
They're just insane.
they weren't ready for that. They
Yeah.
just weren't cut out
Yeah.
to be a mom.
yeah, some people aren't meant to be moms.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all those things that we heard. And so, I mean, I heard from my own parents. I love my parents, don't get me wrong, but they did not give me the space to talk about my feelings. they literally would say depression is laziness. That's not a real thing.
Yeah.
That is something that Hollywood invented. And so it took a long time for me to like open up to them about that kind of stuff. And so I think because of social media, we'll end on like that happy note. That social media is good because it gives us that space that we did not have. And like our podcast, we wanted to give that space too for people that may not have a great relationship with their sisters or just want to hear how we as sisters operate and talk to each other, because
We ain't
it's
perfect.
yeah, we're not perfect. And so I hope we're relatable to some people and like what we say and like how we feel about certain topics, because like that's why we set out, because we're not here to be perfect, right? I mean,
We're just here to have fun.
yeah.
Girls.
So yeah, anyway, do either of you have anything else to add before we get into the last trivia question?
I think so. No, I think just what Natalie said. Like, if you are looking on social media, and you feel depressed afterwards, and you just don't feel like trying your best at life, I would suggest either getting off or unfollowing those people that make you feel that way. And
And we'll do it with you.
because social media as a whole, like we said, it's not a bad thing,
Just how
but
you use
just
it.
use it wisely and don't make it your whole life.
Perfect.
Good summary. Yeah.
Good summary. Thank you, Heidi.
You're
Okay, so Jeff came up with our next trivia question. I just want to say he had this in my office
All
at
ready to
1
go?
p.m. today. I did give him last week to do it. I told him last week, you have to do the trivia. And I told him like every single day, you have to do the trivia. And it didn't show up until 1 p.m. However, at least he did it way before I needed him to.
That's true.
So anyway, with that being
Props
said,
to you, Jeff.
our punishment is still, our consequence, I should say, to braid our hair to each other's and go somewhere public with it. So
Let's go.
here we go. I'm nervous. It's probably something computer related. It is. What or in which year was the World Wide Web invented?
Oh no.
What is a scribble? Okay.
Beautiful.
A, 1985. B, 1987. C, 1994. Or D, 1989.
Oh my goodness.
Well, because of his order, it has to be D. Just kidding. That's just my logic brain. But I don't know. Okay, hold on. Let me try to
yeah,
think.
I feel like
When
it's
was the
85,
internet here?
87, or 89 because those are all closer than the 94.
I think we had World Wide Web before 94. For
Yeah.
sure. Can we just rule that out?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it has to be 85, 87, or 89. But I have no idea which.
I feel like it's 89.
You think?
I'm just thinking about Friends, right? And like he gets this really dinky like laptop that you can tell is just like
Yeah, the
squared up, the box
Chandler's?
ones. Yeah. And he thinks it's the coolest thing, but it's like trash. And it's like the show is in like
Early 90s.
early 90s.
Mhm.
So I'm just thinking maybe, but then again, that was a laptop.
But when it was invented, I mean, it had to delay
Yeah.
for like people to
That's
like
true.
actually start
'Cause
using it.
So in the 90s, we had those like laptops that were portable
So
computers.
maybe it's 87.
I think 87 or 89. Because I feel like 85, I don't know.
89 for T Swift. Just kidding.
1989.
Is that,
Maybe that's how we'll remember it.
I kind of hope it's 1989. Should we just full send?
What do you think,
I feel like it's
Natalie?
87.
I feel
But
like,
I had the last word last time. You guys.
no.
What do you think it is?
Because
89?
I'm also thinking about Friends, because Friends is my favorite show, as
Yeah.
you guys know.
It's starting to become mine.
Of course it is, because it's so good.
Well, like when was the show? Like
94. But
I mean, maybe that was enough time. 1989.
but like that was a
to
portable
94.
computer. Before that, we had to have like the computer that already had like that were in offices or like
Mhm.
was in
The
offices.
chunky
The
ones.
big
Oh,
clunky one.
But what season was this in?
The first, second.
the second?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it has to be like early on.
Okay.
So, because I remember his little
I know, and then it got stolen.
yeah. that computer has or
You
that
have to
laptop
watch
goes.
that show now.
That
I
laptop
have
goes
watched
to
that
a-
show.
All
Yeah,
the
she
way
has,
through?
Yeah,
Oh,
I have. I love that show.
Yep.
It's just been a minute.
that's why I watch it every year, guys. So anyway, okay. I don't know. I think
I would say 1987.
let's just say 87.
Okay,
If it's 89, I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die too.
it's 89. No,
Oh God.
You see, and my logic went oh, it's gonna go up increasingly each answer, and then
You were right. It was D because of
because of my logic of my
Gosh.
test taking skills.
why? Why do you guys listen to me?
No, because 87 also sounded correct. Because I'm over here thinking like, if Friends that season was 1995, I'm thinking 8 years is ample time for World Wide Web to be invented, and then for us to have like the portable computer where he was able to go online, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, so that's why I was like, that makes sense to me. That made sense to me. Oh,
That sucks.
it's fine. So we had to braid our hair.
Yup.
We should just do that for the next podcast too. Just have our hair.
Oh
braided.
gosh. How would we look at each other? We'll be like,
We wouldn't.
Oh my
we're just
God.
looking at the camera while we talk the whole time. Oh gosh. Thanks for listening to Discussions. Hit the little camera icon and follow us on Instagram at Discussions Podcast to stay updated on all things Heidi, Nat, and Kim. And don't forget to catch us on next week's episode.